So here at the pod, we use a lot of what are called controlled articular rotations, or CARs for short. We love using these because they're a really good way to kind of maintain your joints, and they also allow you to kind of check in on like, what feels sticky, what do I need to work on? So there's a really basic routine we can go through to kind of hit all the major joints in the body. And we're gonna kind of go through that right now. These are really good for anyone to do. If you have some more specific conditions, we can talk about those another time. But for right now, we're gonna hit the major joints of the body, just so that you have a reference if we ask you to do any of these. Okay, so we're gonna start at the top of the head and work our way down to the ankles. So before we start, a couple things we need to keep in mind. It's a controlled articular rotation. So everything we do is gonna be really slow and under control the whole time. The slower you do these, the better. Okay? The other principle is we wanna try and isolate the joint as much as possible. So when I'm doing, say, the shoulder, I shouldn't be moving a lot elsewhere. I should just be moving the shoulder joint. Okay, so single joint, under control the whole time, and isolated. So we're gonna go ahead and start. We're gonna start with the cervical spine. Okay? So for this one, we're just gonna look straight ahead. First thing we're gonna do is take the chin down to the chest. We're gonna roll the head over to the side, making sure we keep the shoulders level. And then we're gonna go back, pointing the chin up towards the ceiling. Over to the other side. And then chin back down to chest. Okay. And then I'm gonna go back the opposite direction. Chin goes up towards the ceiling. Over to the other side. Back down to the chest. So that would be one cervical spine controlled articular rotation. From here, we're gonna go to the shoulder blade. Okay? For this, I recommend we start in shoulder neutral position. So I'm just gonna hold my arm here, and the emphasis is gonna be on moving the shoulder blade. So I'm gonna start by shrugging up. I'll pull that shoulder blade back and down. Make a big circle here with the shoulder blade, trying to keep the arm straight. Once I get back up to the top, I'm going to change directions. I'm going to go ahead and show you that one more time so you kind of see what's going on here. Making a big circle with that shoulder blade. Alright, so from there, we're going to do the shoulder itself. So for this one, we're going to start arm down by the side, thumb straight ahead. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come straight up. You'll notice I keep my shoulder down here. My shoulder blade's down. I'm not doing this. I'm isolating the shoulder. From here, I'm gonna try and create internal rotation. If you watch my elbow, it should turn in a little bit. I'm gonna continue to make this big circle here. Continuing to make rotation. You can see my thumb continues to point down. And when I finish, my palm should be facing out here. And then I'm going to come back, holding onto that internal rotation as much as possible. Eventually, I'm going to reach a point I can't go any further, so now I'm going to come back and let the arm rotate. I'm going to come back down. I'm going to show you that one more time. So we come straight up. Internally rotate. Continue that big circle. Right here's where a lot of people like to cheat. They like to rotate through the spine. We're going to try and keep the spine neutral as we continue that shoulder circle. All the way down to the bottom. Palm is facing out. And back around. And down. Okay. From here, we're going to go into the hip. When we're doing the hip, it's important we try and keep our pelvis neutral. A lot of us like to kind of swing around and move our hips a lot. We want to just keep our pelvis square as much as possible. So we're going to start on the right hip here. Standing up nice and tall, we're going to come into hip flexion. I'm going to go out into abduction. From here, I'm going to go into internal rotation. It's kind of a small movement. Very powerful. From here, I'm going to try and swing my knee out wide, making a big arc. Going back into extension. Back to neutral. And I got to bring it back around. So I'm going to go back into extension. out wide. I should end up back in this position. I'm gonna bring it in and back down. One more time, okay? So starting up into flexion. I'm gonna go out into abduction, making sure I don't rotate open. It's just the hip. Internal rotation here. I'm gonna try and keep this high, keep it like a shelf. It's just a little bit of motion there. It might feel crampy in your hip. That's great. We want that out wide. As we go into extension, we want to make sure we don't overextend through the spine. So give me a little ab tension here. Back to neutral. Back into extension. Out wide. This one's going to be real crampy here. That's good. We want it to cramp. And back in. Continuing with the lower extremity, we're going to go down to the ankle. So I'm going to come down to the floor. And I'm going to get into this position. You don't have to do it in this position, but this allows me to isolate the ankle a little bit. So I'm going to make large circles with my toes. So I'm going to start by pointing my toes. And I'm just going to make a big circle here, nice and slow. As big as I can. And then I'm going to go back the other way. So those are the main joints of the body. We can do them for all joints in the body if we wanted to. Those are some of the more common ones. These are also some of the more common ways to do these. There's lots of variability in how we can do these. We just showed you some of the basic ones. For most people, I would recommend, it's great if we can just work through each of those, doing 3 to 5 reps once or twice a day. And it's a great way to just maintain that health of your joints. I commonly refer to it as brushing your teeth for your joints. So you can do it 1 to 2 times a day, 3 to 5 reps for each joint. Only takes around 10 minutes, but will do great things for you. So that's a basic controlled articular rotation routine. Try that one out, have some fun.